In most games, it's a bad thing when your character ends up dying, but in Suicide Guy, that's actually your goal. But is this one game that you should be dying to get your hands on, or is this one just too fatally flawed? Suicide Guy is a 3D puzzle game where your goal is to kill off your titular character, Suicide Guy. The game is broken up into 25 different levels, and each one has a different contraption that you'll eventually have to set off to kill off your character. The levels range in different themes, from some being parodies of the likes of Portal or Indiana Jones, to just being more straightforward situations. After the game's opening segment, you'll be dropped into a restaurant which works as the game's hub, where you'll be able to select which level you want to go into next. In each one of the levels, while your main goal is just to set off the trap that will kill off your character, there's also a collectible Suicide Guy statue in each one of the stages. Going into the game, I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought it was going to be kind of one of those mess joke of a game, but there's actually a lot of creativity, and it was actually fun to solve the puzzles and eventually kill off this guy in a lot of creative different ways. However, the game can be a bit clunky. Moving your character at times can be difficult to get him exactly to go where you need him to. Stacking of items that you sometimes have to do can be an absolute chore. There's one puzzle early on where you have to stack 2 boxes on top of one another, and doing this and actually being able to move the boxes where you need them is a lot harder than it ended up needing to be. Along with that, the game breaks at times, with some of the objects you need being able to kind of glitch. I had a couple of times where a box I needed ended up going through the floor and completely disappearing from the map. Of course, the game's theme is pretty dark, but it's done in a relatively lighthearted nature. The game's filled with, like I said, parodies and the like, and the camera always cuts just as your character would end up meeting their maker. There's actually a pretty fair amount of fun stuff to actually do in some of the levels, from carnival games to driving around in certain vehicles. Each level ends up being a small little sandbox for you to interact and do things with, even if you end up having to reap that final result. Outside of the technical issues I mentioned earlier, with some of the items I needed glitching out of place, the game thankfully never crashed on me. Suicide Guy is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $7.99, and it does feature a pretty easy platinum trophy. The game is also available on PC for a slightly lower price. Overall, I ended up having a lot more fun with Suicide Guy than I initially thought, but the technical issues and having to restart multiple levels due to the game messing up ended up taking away from the overall experience. With that said, I am going to end up giving Suicide Guy a 6 out of 10. But anyway guys, going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.